Animation has existed in our media pool since the days of black and white television. Now, I'm sure that you have your favorite animated media, like your favorite shows or your favorite movies, but have you ever wondered how they were created? Animation is your answer. Animation is the sequencing of multiple images in rapid succession in order to create the illusion of movement. Now, contrary to popular belief, animation can be picked up and learned by anyone. It is highly accessible. In fact, I myself have been animating since I was 7 years old, and at the time, I used very primitive programs, and yet I was still able to create products that I was satisfied with. Now, what gives me the credibility to talk about animation? Well, as I said, I've been animating since I was 7 years old, and I've also used a variety of different programs, ranging from 2D animation to 3D animation, and I've also used a variety of different hardware in order to animate, such as what most people associate animation with, the graphics tablet and the stylus, which I use to draw electronically in order to create animations. Now, in order to create your first animation, you are going to need to first find a program to animate with, conceptualize your animation, plan out your animation, and finally clean up your animation. Now, in order to find a program, I would recommend looking to online communities. I look to Hyun's Dojo and The Dark Demon, which are both online animation communities, and these communities they provide users or members in their community with free resources, such as free programs and sometimes even full-fledged animation courses, right there for free. Now, after you found your program, next you are going to need to plan out your animation. Now, in order to plan your animation, you need to first conceptualize what you want your animation to be. Now, you can take inspiration to animate from pretty much anything, whether it be your favorite show, or your favorite movie, or any other media, or maybe it could even be from real life, like you want to animate your favorite celebrity. For example, I myself, I was a huge fan of Usain Bolt. He was my favorite athlete, and he still is my favorite athlete. So, one of my first animations was an animation of a person running, which was inspired by him. Now, after you know what you're going to animate, you're going to need to plan it out. And this is where you create an animatic. An animatic is a rough draft of what your animation is going to look like when it's finalized. Now, an important skill that you can use while creating your animatic is storyboarding. Storyboarding is when you create the first image, and then the second image, and then the third image of your animation. Now, these three images, these are going to be the most important aspects of your animation. These are going to be often the beginning movement, the middle movement, and the ending movement. And then, after you have those three movements planned out, you can go back and fill in the rest to connect those movements together in order to create your illusion of movement. Now, afterwards, you're going to clean up your animation. Now, cleaning up your animation is often a tedious process, which is why I would recommend getting yourself a pair of headphones so that you can listen to music or maybe listen to a podcast while you pass the time so that you don't get too bored during the animation, because animation is a very tedious process. However, the ending results are always worth it. Now, while you're cleaning up your animation, you are going to want to, it often involves a lot of tracing over any messy lines that you may have left during the drafting phase, and you don't necessarily have to erase the lines. If the line is already good and it just has a little artifacts on the sides or whatever, you can trace over that line and then go back and erase it. The whole cleanup process is just about cleaning up the animation and making sure it looks good. Just making sure there are no messy lines anywhere, making sure that the animation isn't jumping around, and making sure that your character or whatever you're animating is always flowing in one consistent movement. It doesn't start here then just suddenly jump up wherever. So just make sure that your animation is smooth and up to quality during your cleanup process. Now, if you followed all these steps, you will have successfully created your first animation. Now, after creating your first animation, you can share it with anyone. Maybe you could export it or just save it for yourself, show it to your friends, or anything else. After you create it, it's yours. You can do what you want with it. Now, throughout the course of this speech, I have taught you how to find the program, how to conceptualize your animation, how to plan out your animation, and how to clean up your animation. Now, using these skills, hopefully you'll at least get a little baseline for how to create your first animation if you decide to go into that, which I really recommend because I really enjoy it. It's one of the reasons that I love creating so much, and that's about it. Thank you.